Royalty. Royalty.
Okay. So, is the screen working? Do I have?
Yep.
I'm on? It's all white and cool. Okay, so the word for today we're going to have is going to be the word for law. Now, a lot of you know that when a person says law, immediately they think, okay, God's law, and that's the thing that's done away with. And it's normally because in English, words are all translated the same across the board. So, for the one word law, if you go, if you have an ancient Hebrew lexicon, if you go on the back, it'll show you the word like law, or the word marriage, or the word whatever. And it'll show you how that word's translated like this in the King James Version, but how there's like 5 or 6 different Hebrew words for that same word. Right? Law is one of those things. So most of us only have one definition of law in our brain, and that's Torah. We're like, law is Torah, period. So that's God's word, and he writes it down, and that's how we experience God's law, and that's the part that's done away with. But there are, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 or 5 different words for law. Very interesting. So I'm going to give you those today. Okay, so the first one is the word dot, right? Dot. It's actually dot.
D-A-A-T?
Yes. So it's funny because somebody totally just said that on the YouTube channel. They're like, spell it out, because even though you're saying it, I still don't know how to spell it. So because you said that, so D-A''A'-T, dot. Okay, and it looks like this in Hebrew, so it's a dalet and a tav. Right, all that for just that, huh? Okay, so a dalet and a tav. So a dalet is a what?
Door, pathway.
To enter, right?
Yes.
And then a tav is?
Covenant, mark, sign, covenant.
Okay, so da'at means entering with a mark. That's a word for law. The law is the idea that 2 people came into an agreement, and so now you're entering into something with a mark representing the law of the agreement. Okay?
That's good.
All right. Next one. Okay, the next one is the word, and it's like hok or hak. Okay? So it's het.
How you spell it? English.
Oh, for all intents and purposes, H-A-Q for now. Let's just do H-A-Q. Okay, and so it's het, and then kof. Okay, so het is.
Oh,
Yeah.
tip wall fence separation.
Right, tip wall fence separation, and the kof is
Center horizon.
behind, towards, something in the distance, something among. Okay, so then the idea of law also represents a separating from something. So you know how when the sun goes over the horizon, it's separating from the day from the night. A separating, but it also means a coming into something else. You're coming into a different time, meaning like night, right? So it means a separating and a coming together, right? So the idea of a law is something that's supposed to separate you from one thing, but bind you together with something else, okay? It also has to do with, so there's another word, let me go back one, and it's same root, but it has a vav in the middle. So now you can see the idea of joining together, right? So you got het, vav, kof, so it's hok, so H or C-H-O-Q, okay? And it has to do with an appointment of a specific time, a function, and a duty. So, like the day is an appointment of a specific time. You know, during the day you do specific things. The night is an appointment of a specific time. At night you do specific things. So the idea of law is an appointment of a specific time or duty where it tells you during this time, within these ramifications, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And so you can see in different covenants or laws throughout Scripture, there were covenants made at different times for different purposes, yet they all served a bigger purpose. So the covenant with Abraham was, okay, I'm going to take you and I'm going to use your physical seed to bless the whole earth. But in an appointed time in the distant, I'm going to make your seed like the sands of the earth. So it was an appointed time for now, and then appointed time for later. That was the law between Yah and Abraham. You can see the law between Yah and Noah. He's like, I'm going to protect your seed, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use your seed to then replenish the earth, right? A law between Yah, Moshe, and the children of Israel. Now you are this distant seed I was talking about with Abraham, and I'm going to take your seed, and you have appointed time and appointed function for the whole world. Then you get to the Brit Kadashah, which is a new covenant. And in this covenant, same consistent covenant with the seed, but now I'm going to have the Hamashiach, and he has an appointed time and an appointed function in order to carry out a duty, right? But it all serves a purpose for the greater, the whole. Okay. The other word for this, same word. This is the 1, 2, 3. So you have fourth. But these I would consider them all the same word because they're just variations of the same root. So you have het kof kof, and it literally means to inscribe. So the idea of an appointed time or appointed function is something that's set in place. So day and night was inscribed into the universal order in Bereshit, in Genesis, right? Because it's a moedim, it's an appointed time. So when you see it happen, you know what's happening. Well, the idea of his law being hok or hak, right, is it's an appointed time or appointed function that's inscribed somewhere. Does anybody know where this has been inscribed, where he said he would inscribe it? On your hearts. So it's inscribed permanently in a place as a reminder of an appointed time and appointed function. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next one.
So
the next
H-O-Q?
I would put H-O-Q-Q, just so you know how to,
Okay.
I mean, C-H-O-Q-Q, I guess, because it's a het and not a hey. Okay, so the next one, this is the one we're all very familiar with. It's the word Yarah. So it's Yod, Resh, Hey, and you can spell it Y-A-R-A-H, Yarah. And it literally means to throw, like to throw something or to cast something forth. So Hebrews, we do this, it's very action-based. So if I throw my finger this way, I'm telling you to go that way, right? So the idea of throwing something forth can be pointing a person into a direction, throwing your arm. You know, we talk with our hands. You know, we know we're not going to hit nobody, but we do a lot of this because I'm trying to get you to, you know, understand what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. So throwing a finger into direction, to throw yourself at the foot of somebody to represent their authority, right? Or to point a person in the way to walk in life. So the root for this, Yarah, is where we get our word Torah, right? It comes from that. It means to throw or to point a person in a direction. So it's like an archer, and you're teaching a student how to aim at a particular target. And so if I take Ari, she's 3, and I teach her with a bow and arrow, you know, she might put it up, and then the arrow's going to fall down, you know, and she picks it back up, and I'm going to pick your arms up, you know, pull. I might give her a beginner's bow. I'm not going to give her a professional bow. And I'm showing her how to shoot. Now, she might shoot and miss the whole target, but she's shooting. And so what a teacher is teaching the person how to shoot at the target. That's what Torah is. Torah is that person throwing their finger in a direction or showing you or adjusting how you're walking so that you can consistently hit the mark. Okay? So it's not a burden. It's a blessing for somebody to tell you, because Yah doesn't have to tell you anything. He could just say, this is my law, I'll handle it. But he's like, no, I'm going to go a step further because I love you and you're my child. I'm going to show you how to do it. And so obviously we see that in Hamashiach, where instead of just throwing his word as the thing that's pointing, he actually puts the word into a physical form and says, now watch the word. Watch where he points. Watch what he says to do. Watch how he lives, and then you follow after that. Okay? All right, so the last one, I have 2 actually. So the next one is the one coupled with this that makes what we believe law is a negative, and it's the idea of a command. And so the command word is sadi. So it's like so, you know. Sadi vav he. And it means to delegate authority while retaining control. So you would spell it T-S-O-H. Oh, to delegate authority while retaining control. Very interesting, right? And so it's to appoint or command something. That's also law. So you've given your law to a particular person as a representative for you to carry it out. Doesn't make me any less of who I am, right? But I've put my law into a particular people or person in order to carry it out as a representative or an ambassador for me, okay? So the first time we get an actual person being an ambassador to Yah, does anybody know? Before Yah, I'm sorry. You know who that is?
Moshe.
Nope.
Abraham.
Nope. Older. Back further. Adam. Genesis 2:6. And he delegates authority to Adam.
Right.
And everything is supposed to obey and follow Adam as his delegate or representative for Yah. So then if you talk about what Paul mentions later, you have the second Adam. Same function. I delegated my authority, and you're supposed to follow this particular person because they're carrying out a function that I've put in them. Okay? So you get that picture. Okay, perfect. So the idea of delegating authority, this is where people have a hard time with the Hamashiach, while retaining control. Right? Okay. Last one. It's the word shafet. So shin, pei, tet, and I would spell it S-H-A, you can spell it for easiness, S-H-A-P-A-T, so shafat. P-H-A-T. Yeah. So it looks like this.
Hey, I did it right.
You did? Awesome. And so this word has to do with ruling over cases or ruling over wrongdoing. We only see Yah as having law and then judging you according to it. Not the person that teaches you, not the person that's fencing you in and setting you into a delegated role for a appointed time. We always see as a judge. So a judge is to rule over wrongdoing. So after you have all these steps, after you enter with the mark, you've been separated and brought together, his laws are inscribed in your heart, he's now instructed you on how to do his laws. He's put an appointed person in to tell you how to carry out his laws, and then literally made his word flesh so that you could see the word function in its own right without the input or output of other people's thoughts. Now he judges. Yah doesn't start off judging. He gives you all these particular steps before then he goes, okay, now you go to a competition. You're an archer, and now you're supposed to be skilled. So now when I judge you, I'm judging you critically. Why? Because you've been through the training. I brought you in. I'm the best, archer there is, and I'm teaching you. So now if you shoot and you shoot way over there, I'll be like, wow. how you end up way over here when we're together and we're one-on-one, I've instructed you to shoot straight. So to shoot that far off means that you presumptuously shot that far off, or you purpose in your heart that you wanted to shoot over there. Now I'm going to judge you based upon your wrongdoing. And now you see the full function of law. It's not just him judging, but it's him, I've already given you all these things in order to shoot straight. So now when you shoot off, I'm going to judge how far off, like David said, he says, judge how far I actually missed though. Like you can ask that of Yah as the instructor, like, okay, I know I missed, but can you see how far off I was? And, right, like horseshoes. And so that's where Yah is. He's a righteous judge. So he's not judging just the miss, but if you shot at the wall over here, then yes, I'm going to judge you differently than if I see the bullseye and you're like just a little bit to the right. Now I'm going to say, okay, tighten that arm in, and then close that one eye and then shoot again. But if you're over here, I might have to go, okay, all the way back to the drawing board. Let's start at square one. We're stripping you of everything and we're starting all over again. So now you see the full function of Yah's law. All right.
That's good. That's good. That's when we get to this whole thing with the choke or the CHOQ, where they say different times.
Different dispensations.
So different dispensation. They say, well, that was for the law of Abraham, but that's not you. So they want to set so many separations. Well, that was for the nation of Israel. That ain't for us.
Right.
But when we're all part of the same thing. So that was for Noah.
Right.
The dietary law was for the Israelites coming out of Egypt, but that ain't for us.
No, we're doing what baby steps here. You can see it now, how you got, okay, here's a little bit. Come in with a little bit. Come in with the simple thing. Come in with just eating right and keeping my Shabbat. Come on. Because I know we got a lot to work out. And he's like, okay, as you draw closer to me, though, I should be able to require more of you. You know, and that's where people are like, so yeah, if you're in the New Testament, you don't go, you require nothing of me. You see the full report. I require all of you now. Like he said, a living sacrifice. He's like, okay, goats, bulls, all this. Yeah, no, I want a living sacrifice now. You now see the complete picture of how this whole thing, works all the way out. So it's an elevation of Yah's law, not a degradation of his law. Yeah. I'm going to leave it running, because normally you say something and I miss it. So. What? I do, but I want it there if
that's really
something.
good. Thank you.
Hey, let's give her a hand. That was beautiful.
Always learn something.
You should be proud. You should be proud.
Amen. And so, I'm going to actually be doing something on the during the message. So I'm going to be able to elaborate on this word a little bit. And so I won't really get into it right now. But other than to say, give Marika a hand. She did a great job on that idea of law and the different laws. Because one of the things that has tripped us up over time is this idea of our misunderstanding of the word law. And probably the greatest misunderstanding is that people think every single time that the Bible uses the word law, it's talking about the law of Moses. And it's not. By the time our Hamashiach got on the scene, there were additions and man-made tradition that Yah and Yeshua never ever considered to be law. As a matter of fact, he considered it to be satanic, to be honest with you. And people don't know that. They don't know that not all the time the word law is used. So here we get a chance to see how what Marika just showed today, which was beautiful. But you get a chance to see that there's different ways that the text uses the idea of law and instruction and command and all that. And I'm just saying, in addition to that, we have to get out of the mindset that the Bible is speaking about. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes there's laws that the Bible mentions that are laws of the land that may not have anything to do with Torah. It might just be some kind of decree that a king made. That decree would be considered a law. But that mean we need to follow that law? It depends. What if the decree is kill all the baby boys?
Right.
It was a law. It went forth. Y'all get the point? So I like the fact that we got a chance to see that it's different. Amen. Hallelujah. Which means, okay, I'm going to deal with that in my message, so I'm not going to do too much, but just in case she wants to take a snip and put on hers. The most dangerous place for any human being to be is outside of the laws of the Most High. Outside of his instruction, outside of his direction, outside of his guidance, outside of his counseling, outside of his... You don't want to operate like that at all, because, you know, Judgment Day is coming, whether y'all want to believe it or not. Hallelujah. Put your hands together. Amen. One more time. Thank you for that. It gave us great insight.
Royalty. Royalty.